Happy Halloween, everyone. My name is Cole Williams, and it's time. At long last, the final chapter in this story is upon us. In this video, I'm basically going to talk about the tail end of what I imagine for the series. After that, we'll take a look back at the past few videos, the links to which can be conveniently found in this video's description, and see where this channel goes from here. But, without further ado, here is part 3 of Power Rangers Galaxy Defense, a season born from adversity. So like I said in Part 2, Volume 2, General Nebula is slowly losing it. The Power Rangers are gaining more support from the citizens of the universe, and more people are seeing him for what he is, and as they are, he sends down more monsters and begins enforcing the rule of law through fear instead of as a force for supposed good. But as he grows increasingly unhinged, after he's exhausted practically all of his forces, he comes up with his last-ditch effort to eliminate the threat that is the rebellion and to reassert his dominance. He must gain control of the Zeo Crystal. He wants to gain the power of the cosmos itself to maintain his failing grip on the universe. He'll speak his desire to feel that power course through his veins. Now, if you've been watching these videos, then you know that there is a caveat to deal with as far as this strategy is concerned. The Zeo Crystal was shattered when the original command center exploded, and the shards of Zeo Crystal are currently housed within the galactic power stars, which give our current Rangers their powers. The power stars, which are powered by the shards of the Zeo Crystal, are bonded to them, and the only way to sever that bond is to kill the Rangers. So, General Nebula is going to go full-on George R.R. Martin with the Rangers. One by one, the Rangers are going to get killed off. Visually, I'd have the power stars go gray after a brief flash of light, just to signify that the bond has been broken, at which point Nebula will have some guys in protective hazmat-looking suits to retrieve the shards of Zeo Crystal so as to avoid the supposed fate of a younger Lord Zed. I currently have no order in which most of the Rangers would be killed off, but I would end with the two characters that helped our Red Ranger, Caleb Garrison, the most. Ballas, our Black Ranger and the man who taught Caleb how to fight, as well as Crotho, commander of the Starship Paramount and the man who gave Caleb a chance to fight in the rebellion in the first place. General Nebula eventually establishes communication with the Paramount and challenges our Red Ranger to a one-on-one confrontation where it all started, Angel Grove, which will still be in chaos and disarray, assuring that his mother will be there and Caleb can have her back, if he can defeat Nebula. On that alone, Caleb accepts. He warps the Paramount back into Earth's orbit and beams down. Before the final battle, Caleb will meet General Nebula, who goes on this tirade of how the rebellion has been a thorn in his side, and we get the full explanation of why he loathes the rebellion. Remember when I said in part 1 that we'd need to remember the date, November 21st, 1998? That's when the Space Rangers defeated and wiped out the original alliance, which took place 100 years before the start of this series. On that day, however, on another planet, a young man lost everything. His family, his friends, his home. That young man would become General Nebula. He became who he is partly because he did not want anyone to go through what he went through, and partly because even now, 100 years later, he's still harboring a tremendous rage towards the Power Rangers because they failed him that day, even though it wasn't completely their fault. And he hates the rebellion because they are the modern-day Power Rangers. With that, he pulls out a dark constellator that the Alliance's scientists and technicians have reverse-engineered over the course of the season. He then pulls out what appears to be an artificial power star that contains all of the shards of Zeo Crystal that the other Rangers had in their power stars before they were killed. Uh-oh. General Nebula then morphs into a monstrous new form. In this new form, Nebula absolutely trounces Caleb, wipes the floor with him to the point where he has to retreat. Caleb is down and out. He feels just as powerless as he did when he first joined the rebellion. But just then, he flashes back to the first time that all 12 Rangers were in the same room together. This is a bit of a retcon, don't tell anybody. They took a pledge to see this rebellion through until the Alliance are defeated. Until the end. Those words echo in Caleb's mind, and he decides that win or lose, he has to fight until there's nothing left. With strengthened resolve, Caleb meets General Nebula in one of the franchise's famed rock quarries. Caleb morphs into Power Ranger Leo, and again, he just can't seem to gain the upper hand. But here's the thing. The Zeo Crystal is an immensely powerful object. It produces an enormous amount of energy and only becomes stronger as time passes. At some point, the amount of energy is going to take a toll on Nebula's body, and part of his armor, along with the artificial power star, is going to shatter. The Zeo shards are going to transport over to Caleb, swirl around him, and come together to form the Star of Orion. This is, of course, the very last power-up of the series. They have the final showdown, and the other Rangers' weapons protect him as he advances. Finally, Caleb charges up a final attack, and Nebula does feel the power of the cosmos, but not in the way he was expecting. General Nebula is defeated. The United Alliance of Evil, under that name or any other, is dead. Hooray! But in all seriousness, after that, Caleb gets his mother back, and the two of them start an initiative to get all of the Alliance prisoners out of their prisons and back to their homes. Then, we're gonna have a little epilogue. You see, Nebula may have been horribly misguided and committed morally reprehensible acts, but all along, he was right about one thing and only one thing. The universe is a chaotic place, and its people need protection. But the people of the universe shouldn't be ruled with an iron fist. They need to learn to protect themselves too. It's with that in mind that Caleb decides to start training new Rangers in case another force of evil shows up. Ideally, I would have one of Q Ranger's movie-exclusive monsters as the monster in this epilogue. The new recruits use the re-energized power stars to morph. As they pull the triggers on their constellators, we cut to black. End of series. So there it is. Power Rangers Galaxy Defense. Is it perfect? No. And honestly, it probably wasn't going to be. There are a lot of things that could have been smoothed over, and a lot of things that I could still stand to smooth over. That said, despite its flaws, I'm actually pretty proud of what I did, because, fun fact, I did a lot of this myself. I drew the concept art, wrote the theme song, came up with the story, and I think that it at least came out okay. And I want to make something clear. I do not think that I am better than the writers, directors, or anyone on the Power Rangers team. I never meant it to come off that way, and I hope nobody took it that way. Making a television series is not an easy task, and unlike people who work in television, I didn't have anything to constrain or limit my decisions. This was mainly just a creative exercise on my part, and considering where we're at, I may redo this one someday. I'll definitely keep making Tokyo adaptation videos on this channel. I already have ideas for future projects. Although since the channel is still in its infancy, I intend to try different ways of doing this so that it doesn't seem so cumbersome, which will probably be a good thing for all of us. But if you like this video, hit it with a thumbs up. If you hate this video, hit it with a thumbs down. Leave a comment down below. Tell your friends to watch my videos, if they want to. Hit that subscribe button, ring that bell to be notified when I drop a new video, and don't forget to follow me on social media if you want to. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, I bid you a spooky day.